Good morning, Warriors! Back with another episode of Bigger Warriors 2 and then 1% Club. As you know, it looks like I'm in the middle of the dark here. And so I'm gonna try to do one that can just listen to my voice more than anything else. So hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are on your purpose. This is October, what date is this? October 12th, 2022. You can see me in the red lights here waiting by a train over here. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope things are going well. Thank you once again for all the great comments. We have a bunch of different things we're going to kind of talk about during the week here and into next week. And I wanted to shout out to Joey. I'm going to make a comment on what he said, but also try to do one on his comments as well to me. Very interesting type comments and very highly perspective. So I appreciate that, Joey. And Eduardo, as always, and the same thing with what we're going to talk about today is A Burrito, and I think his former name was OG Air Maxes. So welcome, my friend, and always a pleasure to have you on. So he talks about the fact is semen retention like a cheat code for for men. So before we do that, go ahead, please subscribe, comment, like, all those type of things. And please go ahead and subscribe if you feel that something in your heart as well. Like I said, it's greatly appreciated. Everything is greatly appreciated. I think that we're trying to kind of build our 1% club up more and more and more. And it's important to kind of get the word out as best as we can, as many times as we can, so people kind of recognize it. Now, we're not all perfect, of course. We're just trying to follow God's rules and being in nature and trying to be the type of man that we need to be. And I'm focusing on men because I don't think I have any women subscribers, and that's okay at this point. I'll have to go back and look to make sure. But focusing on men, I think it's important for us men to be able to be strong and be those type of men that women admire and that women will feel secure around and feel like providing, and so they will be feminine towards those type of men. Let's talk briefly a little bit about the cheat code. So it's a great idea that A Burrito had, talking about video games and cheat codes, because really when we're talking about this, a lot of times in a cheat code, you may not know exactly how to figure out the solution to the problem. And so I remember playing the one game with my son, and we had all these big monsters, and I can't remember what it was now. The Minotaur or something like that. It was kind of Land of something, and we could not figure this game out. And for a long time, we're sitting there trying to figure out how to vanquish the beast, but we couldn't conquer him. Well, I think he found the cheat codes, and so obviously all of a sudden, that was a different game. But interesting enough, when we talk about this, there is a great connection, as A Burrito saying, between the cheat code in a video game and what we're doing. Now, unfortunately, that's the case. It should not be the case. It should be the case that when you are having semen retention, this is something that should be out there. It should not have to be something that is a cheat code, because this is something that people should all know about, and people should be following it and should be, in the mode of saying, okay, this is a natural way to be. So this is a natural part of the game, and you should be able to figure it out pretty easily. But in our society, this is something that is not emphasized at all. Actually, the opposite is emphasized. And what they're trying to do is get people to become weak. And in men's case, especially men, to demasculate men, to make men, not very strong, not very protective. So obviously invasions of countries and towns and families can occur. And this is the type of stuff that we have to look at. The people who are the real beasts, right? They're the ones that tend to be the criminals right now. And so what you want to do is you got to match your beast quality to protect your family and protect yourself and to protect other people and your communities as you do. So the thing is, you have to be strong internally. I call them inner braces. I call it an inner type of, strength that you have, mental strength, a lot of things you can call it, to be able to be strong enough to overcome a lot of these type of nonsensical type of things that happen to us. And so I think in a great way he's talking about this. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it is like a cheat code. And nowadays in the world we live in, you don't talk about this, and it's kind of like a cheat code to solve the problem. And the solution obviously is becoming the strong man that you are. And so if you look at the entire situation, you cannot solve the problem unless you have this, in my opinion. And I have become such a different type of man because I went full blast. Now, I will have to say that the Fountain of Youth is really what helped me back in 1998 start getting on this road. But it took another 20 years to actually get to the point where I was following the whole plan. And the sixth plan, the sixth exercise, is dealing with celibacy and transmuting energy up through your system. And that I did not realize. They didn't say that, obviously, in the book. And as reading it, I did not really realize that. It dawned on me eventually after I started doing some research in semen retention, and I looked at what was really happening, and I studied the monks in Tibet, and I studied a lot of different types of brahmacharya, sophism, all these things that we studied over the years to kind of look at this. It all became very apparent is what he's talking about is semen retention. And the only way you become a superhuman person, like we are becoming, is because of that retention. You know, as I said, you know, people notice it all the time. The stares are just incredible. Your eye contact is so much greater, and people respect that so much more because of the way your confidence level happens because of everything you're holding inside of yourself. You're not feeling guilty because you release 4 or 5 times, or not weak because you release 4 or 5 times. So the idea is that you really want to look at retaining and being able to be strong, and that's really going to be a solution to a lot of your problems, because that creates a lot of confidence. And the confidence then allows you to take the next step and solve other issues and use more discipline to solve issues. So if you are able to get somewhat of a handle, and we can't, you know, it's hard to master this because in monk mode, you know, we're always going to have those thoughts. And I think as Joey's talking about too, you know, biologically those things are going to happen. And we're not necessarily saying that that's wrong, and I'll have to comment on Joey specifically when we have a chance in a certain video, because he makes some good points. Biologically, there's nothing wrong with your sexual reactions. But the thing is, can you control them to the point where you're not just releasing for no purpose? Can you go ahead and kind of transmute those into energy, into doing things? You know, this is the whole key. It should allow you to become more energized. And this is what happens, and this allows you then to solve other types of problems. So in a really a good way, it is really a cheat code, because what you're doing is telling people this is the way to solve your problems. Because what ends up happening is you become stronger because of retention. Then you want to take the next step, and you want to go ahead and transfer that to other things in your life. And so as you do that continuously, now you become more solution oriented. You start looking better. You start exercising, working out. You start watching your diet more. You start looking at those things that are kind of mess you up more, and you stay away from those type of things. You try not to get involved in addictions and those type of things, and you try to become the strong man that you know you should be, and that what God wanted you to be. And you know, those are the things that happen because you're first going ahead and taking the first step of retaining, and that really then becomes a solution. So if you want to solve the issues like you do in a video game and solve the problems you're dealing with, now you have to kind of start with that first. And once you start with that, then the next step becomes a lot easier and easier and easier, and you build the habit of saying, I'm really looking into now self-improvement. Because it is hard, guys, when you start, and I've been there, when you're releasing a lot and you're just kind of, you know, like in zombie land, because you keep releasing and you want to release more and more, it becomes addictive to many races, right? And so the pictures become addictive, all this becomes, you lose sight of the world, you lose sight of what you're doing. And so now you're caught in this cycle, and you just keep going down and down and down, and you need more and more different types of things. And so you try to get different pictures and things in different ways, and all those things, you become more deviant behavior as you go on, and you're trying to basically kind of then get into the point where you can't stop it, and it takes over your life. And I've seen that happen to a lot of people as well. And I was on that, teetering on those bridges as well, at different times of my life. And the thing is, you need to have something to realize a solution. I thought there was no solution. There was times that I was going to give up hope at one time during these 47 years. There was several times which I thought, there's no use, there's no solution here. But the cheat code, the solution was right there. Now, I just did not realize it because I didn't want it to go into that, because I was really afraid of any kind of physical ramifications, as I was told many times by different people, and looking at this and saying, okay, if you do this, you're not going to be healthy. Well, I'm at 860 days or something like that now. Somewhere like that. In monk mode, I think I just hit 100 days again. Actually my physical health is better than it's been before. At 61 years old. So I don't really see what they've been talking about. And I guess I don't understand this. And if I go back to the history of the world and mankind, this has been kind of an illusion to me. One of these, blue matrix things again. That basically what they're telling you is different than the reality. I mean, I don't remember this being talked about at all in the Rome, different types of eras or over history. And you just know people, basically people did not really, talk about this because it wasn't a huge issue. I mean, I'm sure people did it behind closed doors, but it wasn't a huge issue in the past. Because of media attention, because of all the pictures, now it becomes a lot stronger type of problem. So the key is you need to have something to be able to lean on as something to help you overcome this and to win at the video game and solve the video game. And so this way, I think Burrito and formerly OG Air Max's idea was great. I think he's talking about a wonderful analogy. And the analogy certainly is that you need cheat codes sometimes to be able to solve the problem if you can't figure it out. In this case, I don't always recommend using cheat codes, but because I think you want to figure it out yourself. For my case, I think I would recommend, because this is such a serious problem, I would recommend doing the cheat code and solving this problem. I didn't use a cheat code, so I had to figure it out the long way, but it took me 47 years to do that. One of the reasons I'm doing all this is because I don't want it to take 47 years for each one of you to get to the point where you can kind of get a handle and try to at least semi-master the issue of semen retention. So, all right, my friends, once again, early this morning, hope you guys have a wonderful day today, continuing to battle on and continue to kind of carry the banner of the people who really want to become men again, and strong men, and virile men, and vigorous warriors. That's where it comes from. To be able to be the men that God really, in my opinion, want us to be. All right, guys. God bless you guys. Have a great day. Thanks again to Burrito, and thanks again to people like Eduardo and other people who've made comments lately. I'll try to catch up with those tomorrow when I have light and when I start the broadcast. All right, guys, have a great day and battle on!